it's Jessica and I'm a corporate recruiter, and today I'm answering common job seeker questions. This question is, oh my goodness, is a short interview a bad sign? Okay, so this person is saying, I am a recent college graduate and I am applying for jobs. I recently had an interview that did not last longer than 10 to 15 minutes. The interviewer asked me about myself, gave me a scenario question, and gave me space to ask about 3 questions. The vibe of the interview was nice and comfortable, and the interviewer said they enjoyed meeting with me and for me to send my job references. However, I have always been under the assumption that short interviews meant that the employers are not interested or does not think you're a good fit. Am I right for this assumption? Is this a good or bad sign? I feel conflicted. Okay. I think you're overthinking things. Really, don't worry. Interviews can go a lot of different ways. Now, I've definitely, as a recruiter, had experiences where I've had very long interviews with a person. I like a lot of people that I talk to just in general. When it comes to interviewing, it really just depends. I've had multiple candidates that interview and we take the full interview time and longer, and they're not a match for the job. And sometimes the fact that the interview went longer is just because maybe you as a job candidate are more chatty, and sometimes you even have you can have that nervous talking, right? Let me know if you're a victim of that on occasion. And that's not a good thing. That doesn't necessarily mean you had a great interview just because it went over time or was a longer interview. It just means that you talked more, or you had to talk more to get to the essentials that the interviewer might have needed, or again, like nervous talking. When it comes to a short interview, however, I would say sometimes that is a bad sign. Like, it could be that someone immediately knows like you're not a fit for the role and they don't want to take up too much more of your time. But I think generally they might say that, like if you're saying that you don't have experience in X and this person needs to have experience in this, most recruiters should tell you like, hey, this is a requirement for the role. I think the hiring manager may have an issue with that. Like, you should get some type of feel that something maybe was missing from your conversation, and that's why it was a shorter interview. And then sometimes it's just planned to be a shorter interview. I have interviews sometimes now where I literally may spend 10 to 15 minutes with a person, but that's also what I planned. I plan it to be. So even if I book maybe 30 minutes with you, realistically, I just have a couple questions for you. Let's get straight to the point and see if you're a good match, and then let me answer any question you have. And generally that takes about 15-20 minutes. So and I've had multiple great conversations with candidates that I pass off to the hiring manager and I get their feedback, and it was a shorter interview, and that's fine. And all that means is that in this scenario, it sounds like you vibed really well. You kind of got to those questions, you answered those questions well, so they must not have had a lot of follow-up questions for you because you got right to the point of what they were looking for. And then you're also saying something that's crucial. They asked you for references. Typically, I say typically because not always, but typically employers don't ask you for job references until they're thinking that they're going to make an offer to you and that you did really well in your interview and they want to move forward. So it really can go either way. I think the old thinking is that, oh, if you don't spend an hour in your interview or you don't spend the full time of that interview, things did not go so well. But that's not true. It could really go either way. Sometimes you get all the questions answered, you don't have a ton of questions for me, and then we just move right along. And then other times it does, we just mesh really well and we're just really chatty and you answer all my questions, but we're just vibing and we talk longer and it is a longer conversation. And other times on the opposite end of that, maybe I'm just not getting the information I need and I have to ask you more and more questions to get what I need, and then we spend more time together. Or again, I'll bring it up again, the nervous talking, which means you're saying a lot, but you're not really answering the questions. Anytime I would say you're being asked for job references and you get a good vibe with an interview, you're probably in a good place, and most likely they're thinking about moving forward with an offer to you. So good luck. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.